Hey guys, it's me, Delta One, here with Airsoft Talk. And of course, I'm going to be doing a video on Airsoft this time. Now, what I'm going to be doing a video on is BBs. So this is basically another thing for Airsoft Talk, or Airsoft for Dummies 101, is BBs. Now, you can there's always a BB poster in my background. I was given this, I was not told to put it up. I put this up so I'd have to stop telling people to buy TSD BBs. Because they're really good for the money, and they're really high quality, and they're affordable. But as you can see, there's a bunch of BBs, and they show the bios, and they show the colors, but I'm going to give you the rundown on the basics for BBs. Now, if you're going to use an AEG that's not from Walmart, such as this is just an Echo 1. Yes, you heard me right. This is an Echo 1. My buddy bought this. We just wanted one that came with black handguards, so he bought this a while back, and I mean by a while back, I mean like 3 years ago. Anyways, if you're going to be using an AEG like this, rather it be a standard 74 mag, like this, or you be using a 3,000 round auto winding drum magazine, you're going to want to make sure you use the highest quality BBs. And one thing I'm going to tell you about is that why do we always say don't use .12s? Well, they're not as polished, and by polished I mean they're not as smooth. So this has a Prometheus Type 4 barrel in it. The BB can cause all sorts of damage to that, and you may be like, well, it's metal, it can take it. No, it can't. There's a polishing inside the barrel that makes it smooth, which makes your groupings better, and also FPS. Now, by kind of scratching at that polish with an unpolished BB is just going to cause nothing but problems. That's why we always recommend don't use them. Also, if your FPS is too high, you'll crack the BB and you could get some of the BB material in your gearbox, and it could break a gear, strip the piston, and just break stuff, which is bad. So don't use .12 BBs. The lowest gram you want to use is a .20. And now when I say that, that doesn't mean go to Walmart and buy all the cheap crappy Crossman ammo that you can physically buy. Yet again, Crossman ammo, yes, I'm going to say this, is really not that bad. If it's a last resort and you have to use it, I don't recommend it, but I've actually tested it with a few guns of mine for durability purposes, and out of 25,000 rounds, I only had 3 jams. But then again, I was not using a Type bore. So, what I do recommend is buy some .2s from TSD, but now you may be wondering, what if my gun's shooting 50 bajillion FPS, what gram BB should I use? Well, obviously you should use something that's probably more in the lines of like 10 grams at that FPS. Because if you use a really low gram BB at, say, 700 FPS, say you use like a .2, your BB is just going to be like, and literally go wherever it wants. It's just going to go, or just go, they're just not going to go straight, because you don't have enough weight for the projectile to stay in a straight line basically during movement. Now, what FPS do you recommend for the best accuracy with a .2? Personally, 280, 300. 300 to me is actually kind of pushing it. I personally would use a .23 at 330 FPS just for the best accuracy, but I mean, to be honest, you're not going to need perfect accuracy at that FPS because you're in CQB, which would be really pointless to have pinpoint accuracy in CQB considering you're normally within 50 feet of the person. Now, say your gun's shooting 380, I'd use .25s, and maybe .28s, maybe. It depends. But your distance is going to drop dramatically by increasing your BB weight. That's why FPS setups for sniper rifles are so high, so you can have super accuracy and can keep your range. Now, it won't do you any harm to use .2s at that FPS at all. You can use .2s whatever the heck setup you want, but it's not going to be accurate. Now, for me, at 400 FPS, I'm going to use something 400, 420. I'm going to use like .30s, maybe .32s if I can find them. Now, you have all the BB diagram chart right there. That's basically your basic setup. At 400 FPS, I'd use .28s to .30s. for the best accuracy. And I mean, I'm talking like the best accuracy possible. Like to make a video to just prove how accurate the gun is, you'd want to use something like that. But if you're actually playing, I personally wouldn't use it. But that's just me. Now, if you're using 450, probably want to do .34s or 36 for the best accuracy. And then basically beyond and up and beyond that, you're going to use the heaviest gram BB. This is a chart that I've been reading off of. It is an old chart, so if my calculations may be wrong just a bit, some of you airsoft snipers can correct me if I am wrong. So, but basically, when you get to the 550 FPS up, you just want to find the heaviest BB possible. I know some people that just use .30s, and they get good accuracy, but if you're going for 650, then you become in the problem of cracking BBs sometimes. It can happen. Now, you may be wondering, crack a BB, what are you talking about? Well, that's so much air coming out of a small nozzle hitting that plastic BB, it could break it if you have a low-quality BB. I know people that have to use Teflon-coated BBs for their sniper rifles because they're so powerful. And you may be wondering, well, why do they need that much power? They're not. They're just 500 FPS, like 550. It's like right on the button, and all that. Now, some other things that I want to talk about. Biodegradables are very bad for your gun. Well, not very bad, but they can be bad. They make makes you have to clean your rifle over and over and over again. I don't like them, especially since I live in Houston, where the humidity level is always above 80%. I could leave my BBs outside overnight practically, and they would disappear. That's a bit of an exaggeration, but that's just something I don't care for, is biodegradables. And I hate it when I go to a field and they want to make me use biodegradables. I'm like, no. I don't recommend this, but if they really make you, I just take a biodegradable bag and put regular .2s in it, because I'm not going to pay the extra cash for biodegradables. Sure, they biodegrade over time, but it's just they're just not as high quality as a standard BB, so I don't recommend using them. Now, you may be wondering, game face, powder BBs, how do those work? They're horrible. I hate them. I have pictures on my cell phone from yelling at my buddy when he borrowed a gun of mine, and he used those BBs, and I wanted to kill him. Because it took me 2.5 hours to clean out a stupid magazine. Don't even get me started on the barrel, and then the magwell itself. Because it has a powder residue. Just because it's got powder on it isn't going to make it, show that you've been hit that well. Personally, if you have a great gun and it's set up properly, just aim for the fingers. They hurt so bad when you get hit there. Even if you do wear gloves, you're going to notice it. Or go for the arms or something. I mean, come on. Go for where you know it's going to hurt, not the crotch or the face. But guys, that's pretty much. Don't use .12s. I don't recommend biodegradables. Don't use game face BBs, because they're just the marker ones, because that's just stupid. Don't use game face and general BBs, because their BBs are just crap. But anyways, if you're going to ask me, now what are the best BBs? Personally, KSC makes some of the best BBs. Personally, in my opinion, they're a bit pricey. I personally have used TSD. I've shot over 300,000 rounds of their ammunition and have never had one jam through all my guns, all the videos I've ever made. Since day one, I've used TSD BBs. They're not super duper like the best, but for what you're paying, for like literally $12 a bag for 5,000 .2s, you can't complain, because I can't find BBs that are better than that. Now, some people may use Golden Ball. No, I'm going to use something that's been rebranded. And yes, TSD's BBs are a rebrand, but they do an actual job on it. They actually make a difference. They get rid of a lot of BB dust from the company they rebranded it off of. And some people may know who they are, but basically, if you're going to use BBs and you want the top, best of the line that's mass produced, it's going to be KSC. And then personally, I would just use TSD. In all honesty, if you're a sniper, you're going to have to make do with what ammo you can find. I don't really research ammo too much for the best of the quality, because I just use TSD because it works. I've never had a jam. But anyways, that's pretty much this little airsoft talk for dummies for BBs for guns. So guys, let me know what you think, and I appreciate you watching.